Man, you go 2 days without a show.
Mm-hmm.
And things just pop off, man. A wild day inside of a wild weekend in Duval and the surrounding areas.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. Our team may suck, but man, we're gonna get some drama down here in Duval.
And that's really all you need.
Stay at the top of the news cycle, right? Yeah. I'm letting all of our peeps know on Facebook. You gotta check out the show on Twitter or YouTube.
The world almost ended for people on Facebook.
There
was no Facebook for all day.
I know.
Or Instagram.
The Instagram thing, like that helped me today. I noticed my notifications were way down. And I didn't know what was going on, but I was happy about that. But we won't get into all that. Make sure. Here's what you need to do: is you need to go pull out, because I know you were saving it for this weekend, but pull out the good stuff from the liquor bar.
Mm-hmm.
You went to ABC. You did what we asked you to do. Now it's time to go ahead and break open the good stuff. We should have broken open the good stuff tonight. I mean, this may be better than the Jalen Ramsey press conference when it comes to content.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen's press conference pales in comparison to this.
Jalen, man, that gave us a full 2 hours.
Yeah, but this could give you days of stuff. You just aren't into the salacious stuff like that. This is like Maury Povich. This is like there's a press conference to break down. There's the actual actions to break down. There's the people who are, what do you call it? The morality police who probably shouldn't be morality police. It's just so many different angles that you could dedicate an entire couple of shows. I don't want to dedicate a couple of shows, but
I want to dedicate about half of this one.
The hilariousness of this to me, and before we even get into like all the other stuff, I posted that this actually makes me like you more, Herbs. And then people were like, no, you shouldn't because he's a role model. To who? If you've listened to us.
Well, I mean, listen, the role model thing is a stretch, but make you like him more?
I've heard all kinds of stuff about Urban and Urban's family.
I don't know about liking him more.
Well, no, I'm just saying, to me,
that's telling us more about you than it is about Herbs.
No, telling people who are judging Herbs right now, not judging them per se, people who are acting like, oh my God, I can't believe Urban would do this. No, that's telling me more about you than Herbs. Because what the hell, Urban Meyer, have you been paying attention to for the last 16 years?
Well, no, that's fair. I'm just saying, like, for you to watch that video and go, oh, I like him more now. That says a lot about you, actually.
No, here's the thing is, I talk about and I enjoy and I've been with the woman that I love, 2 adult chicken wings establishments. That is no different than what happened there, except for the fact that I didn't realize that he had a whole hand up all the way up. I wouldn't do that because there's nowhere to wash your hands.
Before we get there, because we got to break down the video. Hold on. Let get us to Executive Health Spa, because that is the perfect sponsor for this. Executive Health and Med Spa. Like, if you may not have any desire to do anything. And I'm not saying that if you go there and all of a sudden you pick up the desire that you need to go be teaching young women how to snap a ball. Like, that's not what needs to happen. But what I'm telling you is, you may watch that video and go, how is a man Urban's age still got that fire in him? He's at Executive Health Med Spa. That's what we've been trying to tell you. Scott, drop our sponsorship and go sign Herbs. He's the perfect endorser for you. Get to Executive Health and Med Spa. If you've had some issues, they can get you taken care of right away. If you just want to feel younger, look younger, if you want to recover better, Executive Health and Med Spa. That may be the best Executive Health and Med Spa read ever. It's all downhill from there.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let's break.
He was teaching how to snap.
Well, I'm going to show you. Let's break down the video. This is going to be a little sloppy, but let's break it down real quick. Because this is my football coach, and what I like about my football coach, James, is that there is no days off. He is showing her where you put your hands. You like right hand under, Left hand squeeze. Did you know that, James? When you
well,
hold on.
I never
Follow
really.
Me. Yeah.
I'm really.
Y'all are wrong about
really
this.
Paying attention.
Y'all are wrong. What happens is I'm going to stand up to demonstrate here, James.
In 4K.
Yeah.
This is good.
Here's what happens: is you put your right hand under. You don't push up with the right. That's where a lot of quarterbacks go wrong. You push up with the left, so there's not a gap between your right and your left.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you look at it, what he does is he positions the right hand underneath what would in most football players be the nads, not in this young lady. Well, he positions the right hand up underneath there, and then you can see him. He's putting up what I think is the left hand, although it may be his junk. I don't know. He's putting the left hand under hut. This is a full-time football coach focused on his passion, which is teaching football. The game is going global, James. There's more and more women playing the game. They need to learn.
Women's flag football is becoming a big thing.
How to take a snap.
Something that I was
That's my story.
I'm really intrigued by with this, and I see it a lot in I-9 when we're trying to take snaps under center.
Right,
is that kids are afraid to really get up under there and get in there.
No fear.
And there's entirely too much space.
Right,
and that's how you fumble. That's how you fumble the snaps.
It is.
So if you look where the hand is,
right, there
is no space. Like he's got that thing in there firm, and the center. I mean, the young lady, she is making sure that she's got her hips back.
Right.
It's not because if the butt is too high, it can make an errant snap.
She could have been over a little. Okay. In all seriousness, man, let's break this down for a second. Herbs, what are you doing, dog? Like, before we even get into anything else, I have not been to a club in a long, long time. I don't know how I would flirt with a young lady. I don't. I have no idea. So I'm not saying that I have any more game than Urban here. But this looks awkward. And how many pullovers does this man own?
Well, he's coached at a lot of different styles. But one thing I will say that I'm appreciative of is that, and this is before because we're going to get into press conference. That's what the press conference brought him down a little bit. This happens to, I'm not putting anybody, that's not my job, but it's, if you think your coach is the same, it's probably not, unless they're Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy, I believe, can do no wrong. But I mean, he's been, people have been
muted, by the way. I'm sorry.
People have been critiquing our coach here in Jacksonville for his inability to consistently score. Mm-hmm. And what he's going out here doing is trying, because coaches coach.
Right.
It's not the great ones. It's not like everything they do. Even their family comes in and they talk about how they are one way. Coach is trying to score. Now, what we can see now is clearly he's been out of the game, and she's not bad, but like, you know, sometimes Ohio State's best players, your best players are your 3-stars.
Right.
You got to develop.
Right.
So, I mean, right now he might not know how to talk to a 5-star because he's gone shifted to the pro game and try to see who can fit his system a little bit more.
He only gets to draft now.
Right. Yeah. So I think he's a little rusty on that, but his ability to pull him is not lost.
Yeah.
And this just, are we going to the press conference next?
In just a second. Pause this for a second because I'm getting tired of watching.
Now, I feel like, this is where I'm not feel bad. I don't want to say feel bad because Herbs, you got to know, like, again, you caught in 4K, bro. There's cameras everywhere. Every coach talks about, since I've played, be careful when you go out because people are watching, blah, blah, blah.
That in the press conference.
And like, you know, he said this. I know he said it to Trevor, blah, blah, blah. But like, you know, let's get you a better dancer. And then my first thought was, again, executive health spa.
He ain't worried about the dancing.
But what I'm saying is, like, we could get him a private area to where, like, if this is what you need to do, Herbs, like, this is where I think sometimes people hide them from our show because they're afraid they may speak too much or expose too much. But we're here to protect you.
Right.
Especially if it's going to help win. Because I like talking about winners. I don't like talking about losers. But, like, dude, if you need to, like, you know, as long as it's talk to the missus. I don't want to be like a accessory to that, but I'm sure whatever you got in your great. Y'all been married for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't your first rodeo. I've seen the text messages with Zach Smith. One thing about Shelly Meyer, she is a ride or die. She gonna protect the brand. Dude, we got all kinds of rooms over at Strip Club Scott Spot,
right?
That we could just make sure that we can import them. Like if this is what you like right here, I'm sure we can go find that at Walmart anywhere around here in Jacksonville and make sure that we have that.
Jeez,
I don't mean, my bad. That's too BJ's.
She's a pretty young lady.
No, I'm not saying she's just pretty young ladies at
Emphasis
Walmart.
on young.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you like them young, well, not too young. Like, wasn't she? She's probably 30s, right? 24. 22.
I mean, the other picture, yeah, she looks like she's mid-20s.
Mid-20s,
maybe.
okay. Yeah.
Maybe. His friends are terrible people. Urban's friends are terrible people. We should have a wall here.
Another football, like right now, we should have a punt. Like which is
correct. Get behind the wall.
Get behind the wall, Herb.
Follow your blocker.
Like, so where now, at least if we have, this
looks like a big fella right here.
At least if his blind side is covered, right? We wouldn't have to worry so much about that, but we can see Urban's face,
bro. Don't nobody wear them tight pullovers like Urban now. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but you if you were going to plan on doing this, you should have gone goth or something. Like,
man. It's October. We're having Halloween parties now.
You should have borrowed Dan's Darth Vader helmet or whatever it is. Real talk before we get to the press conference. I feel sorry for Urban. I mean that. Like, the thing about the internets is it takes your worst moments, if you are any type of celebrity, and it just throws them out there. All right. I want to say, I'm not going to be judgmental here, but I want to say this, James. I want to believe that if I'm Urban Meyer and this young lady comes grinding up on me, that I get off the stool and I'll walk away because I'm a married man. I want to believe I will do that. If I didn't, and it was on video, now I don't know what they did beyond this. This may be all they did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would suck. That would suck to have that moment on video. It trend. Think about how big Urban Meyer, his personality is. You had the best day of football ever the last 2 days. And this joker took over the internet. Like, think about if this was Doug Marrone. No.
We wouldn't care.
No. Like, he took over the internet when the best of games that have been played all year were being played. People stopped tweeting about it and watched Herbs grind against whatever this is. And you, ma'am, are not a home wrecker. No, you are a franchise wrecker. Okay. Do you understand what you put at risk here, ma'am? I don't know your name, and I don't want y'all sending any hate text or tweets or anything, but ma'am, I don't like you. Do you understand what you could have done? Do you understand that we're one bad decision from Charlie freaking Strong walking the sidelines?
Oh,
man, do you understand that, ma'am? Man, where was Lane Kiffin? You couldn't go find Lane? He's single.
But Lane also understands how the internet works. He's not that old.
I don't know if he does or not.
Or Lane,
he's done some things now.
Lane doesn't care.
Now, in the big scheme of things, this is then he make the top 10 of what Urban Meyer has done in his life. No. This is just embarrassing. I'm sorry, Ernst.
What it is it's funny. It's hilarious. It's embarrassing.
It is both of those. It is all three of those.
We have a great message on our YouTube channel where somebody put all he was doing was trying to explain to fans how he should have put Trevor up under center like this. And see, like, okay, see, we can explain this way. The thing is that here's why people are going the route they're going. And when we hear, we'll get more information if you haven't heard the press conference and things like that once we play this. But there's morality clauses. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. We don't know what exactly happened. I'm going to be honest with you. Shelly liking the tweet and talking about how she was with the grandkids doesn't necessarily help the situation, but it does make it even funnier.
She's a trooper, man.
I'll just say the biggest thing is that you have to understand the position that you're in. And that's just, what it was just, it was a lapse in leadership and a lapse in judgment. And there's nothing technically like nothing like lawful that like he can get arrested for. But I look at guys like Vic Valoria at Florida State, who I think is a damn good strength and conditioning coach. The strength and conditioning coach in college's job is to be the person that administers discipline. Basically, you oversee the things that the head coach wants to be done on that level. Once he got popped with that DUI, his ability to really go in and tell those guys don't do stupid things kind of got shifted. And this isn't as bad, but when you go and you you're going to tell a bunch of guys who are supposed to make kind of stupid decisions like this, and you talk about this, you preach it, it's not that they won't listen to you, but it's kind of like, dude, you out here getting lap dances on Main Street when you're Urban freaking Meyer.
It was his own restaurant, wasn't it?
Yes, like that's what I'm saying. So like,
that is kind of a flex.
You're
like
really like
he can look at them and go, "Look, dog, you invest your money and own your own restaurant, you can do what you want."
But what I'm saying is like, don't like I get it, but that makes it even more brazen.
No, I got you.
But I also am of the reality. I don't think I think I'm not saying Herbs wants to really quit. I don't think Herbs really knew what he was getting into. Not necessarily NFL, but in the Jacksonville part.
Well, I want to get into the press conference because I want to hold some thoughts on that.
Okay.
And even on his ability to talk to the guys in the locker room. Remember I did this, Miles? So you're just going to, exit out of there, put the other thing back up, and then keep clicking until we get to it. Then you're going to have to turn that sound up. Let's see. Pressure's on, Miles. Pressure's on. Pressure's on now. Do I need to come over there? Uh-oh, Miles. James, talk for a second.
You're killing us right now, man. All right. So, but I guess all things being considered, like is it fireable? Like, you can turn that mic on while you're over there, unless he found it. But like, it's not a fireable offense, right?
No.
Like,
you hired. Here we go. Let's listen to this. You got it turned up. All right, let's hit play. Jaguars.com brings you the Urban Meyer press conference. That we don't have sound for.
You got to
unmute it.
Click again, Mom. Just go on down here.
It don't work like that, James.
Oh, really? Getting these kinks knocked out. That's great.
Okay, you're gonna hit play. Yep, and then you're gonna have to unmute it. You got us turned up. Oh boy.
Go up. Right here. Oh man, dang.
Oh boy.
What's up?
Yeah. This isn't going well, folks. Try the other ones. Try the other ones, Miles. Just hit them. Let's see. Do you have it muted at the bottom? Is there anything going on over there?
I think Urban really this dejected look that he has. He sacrificed Tebow. I think he thought things were going to go a little bit better than that.
Yeah. Okay.
This is going to be good to have Tebow.
Here's
a good chaplain.
Here's the bottom line. All right. This didn't work out. If you haven't heard the press conference, go listen to it. I love when we break down press conferences, but that's not going to happen here. Just go ahead and exit back out to our main screen. The question is asked, obviously, in fact, we probably can pull the transcript up. The question is asked, kind of what happened, all that kind of stuff. And he says he didn't take himself out of a bad situation. He allowed this to happen. They went on to ask, the questions that you talked about.
Bravo,
did he talk to Shad? Yes, he talked to Shad. He didn't really go into that. Did he talk to the players? Yes, he's talked to the players. Did he, Which I don't know if he's really talked to the whole team. Like, I don't know how that works because they don't really go in on Mondays like that. But and then it went into, do you, what about your family? Yes, my family's not happy. I've got some work to do with them. And then it went into, what about, are you concerned that this is going to affect your ability to talk to players about things? And he said yes. But here's the reality of this. We make way too much at the NFL level of these guys being father figures. We all know Urban's story. We all know the deal. We all know one signing class that broke all 10 commandments at Florida. We already know that. I don't know. I mean, you are a part of half of your roster's maturation, because when you get in the NFL at 22 years old, I believe that is like maybe the worst time in a man's life. Like, that is the part right there where things can go really sideways. You can be tried as an adult. Sometimes you have a family looking out after you. Mm-hmm. Like, there's things that really can happen. For me, I don't want to sit in front of a guy and get advice from a guy who I feel like has never made a mistake, or I feel like is judgmental on me. Like, the reason why I feel like in some instances I can be a good, I'm going to use the word counselor loosely, is because I have effed everything up multiple times. Like, you probably cannot ask me a question that I haven't dummed up myself. I think when he says now in front of a group of people before they go on a long break, hey, listen, y'all be careful. He can say, you ain't above the law. Look at me. You ain't above getting shamed on the internet. Look at me. Like, I screwed that up, and I'm 50 something years old. You're 22. You're going to want to screw it up worse than I am. I don't think it affects that. Bigger than that, I don't think it affects his ability to win football games. And Shad Khan did not hire Urban Meyer for his moral capacity. Mm-hmm. He hired him in spite of it. So I don't personally think the conversation ends today with this. I think the memes continue. I think it could drive him out of coaching. I think it could give him an excuse to get out of coaching if he wants it. Mm-hmm. I think the only way that he's ever fired is if he wants to be fired, or if somebody realizes they made a mistake in hiring him. But if it's all systems go, Herbs wants to be here, the team likes him, he's all in, nothing's happening to this man. The NFL, I mean, I guess they could do something. I don't know. They kind of make up their rules as they go with players. But I don't know if they can do it here. But if I'm Herbs and I got to write a $100,000 check, so be it.
Yeah, I mean, here's where it gets wild. We saw the video. Now there's two videos, multiple angles. And we heard the press conference. And I have some of it's not the full transcript, but it's transcribed, the bits and pieces of it that are important. I explained everything that happened and owned it. And, just stupid. Should not have had myself in that kind of position. There was a big group next to our restaurant, and they wanted me to come over and take pictures. And I did. They were trying to pull me out on the dance floor, screwing around, and I should have left. He talked about how he was at dinner before. This is what he said. How he was at dinner before with the grandkids. Now, what do we know? Shelly was at home with the grandkids. Now, it could have been hours or whatever. Who knows how much time's lapsed? But in that right there, that makes it seem like it was a lapse in judgment. When Herbs, you were drinking, bro. Like, you can see it in your eyes. You can see you were there. You were sitting down. You were being groped on and danced on. And it's not just that picture of that one with that one woman. It's multiple pictures going on. So what you didn't do was take ownership at all. What you did was you gave a half-ass apology because it's probably forced, which I get. PR side, that's what it is. And what's going to happen is, if you win, all is forgiven. But if you keep going, and then people are going to, the faster they'll do it is tuning you out right now. Now, you're right. This father figure thing, like I saw Dan Orlowski, they were talking about that stuff way over the top. Dan's talking about Trevor's a young quarterback, just got married. The last thing, again, this is your boss. I'm not going like I've only kind of worked a couple years in the situation, and it wasn't a real job. I was trained. Well, I played pro sport. My 2 jobs that I've had outside of working for myself, I played pro sports, and then I was a trainer for a sports performance academy where basically my boss was on the same level as me. But that being said, we kind of kicked it, but I wasn't going to him for life advice. I didn't care what happened in his relationship. I mean, unless it affected him, like I cared about that. But like, I'm not saying, okay, well, just because his relationship is messed up doesn't mean it's going to mess up mine. I'm a grown ass man. I make decisions. Like Trevor's got a good circle of people around him. Like when these guys mess up, nobody goes and says, "Oh man, the head coach is like his father. He's going to come in." No, you judge them based upon their mistakes. Herb's made a mistake as a grown ass man. It ain't nobody. The only thing that these guys are probably saying more than anything else, damn, now I'm on high alert. And what he did was closer to what Kobe Bryant did when he got jammed up in Colorado. And I hate to talk about him. God, Kobe's an amazing person at the end of the day. But when he got jammed up in Colorado, instead of taking ownership when he was doing it and just saying it was me, first thing he did was bring Shaq into it. And the thing is, he's talking about, I was just telling Trevor this when he went to Vegas for his bachelor party. Don't do anything stupid. Man, Trevor's like, yo, no, you talk about you in Cincinnati. The bigger problem is that you went out getting dry humped. You didn't take the plane back to Jacksonville. You didn't stick with your team. This is what you left for. You can say you left to stay with family all you want, but what's known is you left to go find some young floozies, and your wife was at home with the grandkids. From what we could definitely see, those are the.
Do you have a problem that he didn't take the plane home with him?
Not really. No. If any, I think if
I do.
Here's why I wouldn't have a problem. Actually, and I don't know the information. Because they're a bye week. I'm not bye week, excuse me. They have the time off because they played on Thursday. If that was afforded to everybody and that was a team rule, like if I say I wanted to go somewhere else, then I'm cool with it. But if everybody else had to take the plane back, then that is kind of messed up. You're not being a leader. Those are the things that are going to show up.
I don't even think if that was afforded to everybody that you're being a leader.
Still.
Yeah, I think in his situation, he should have stayed. He should have stayed with the team. Because you can't tell me that if, I don't know, name the player, James Robinson came up to him and said, hey, I want to hang out in Cincinnati the weekend. I ain't hopping on that plane, that he's not going to ask him a million questions.
Which, again, goes back to my point of where it does affect you in the locker room is when it was you, it was cool. But now that I want to do
no, I agree. I agree with you on that. I'm just saying, like, the first mistake was not taking the plane back. That was the lack of leadership to me that just jumped out. I mean, he's got private jet money. He could have landed that plane. He could have hopped on a private jet and been back up in Cincinnati in an hour and a half, 2 hours. Not a big deal. I'm with you. Like, tell the story. I get up there. Tell the PR department I got this. I'm a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
I say our thing is own it. I'm going to own it. And get up there and say, hey, I went out. I drank. I had too many drinks. I did something stupid. It's exactly what it looks like. Ask the questions. Like, just come out there and say that. I think I didn't hear what Dan Orlovsky said. I didn't hear it at all. I haven't watched anything today. But the whole Trevor thing, y'all stop with that. Like, Trevor,
I had just listened to it when I was coming in.
Yeah, but I've heard multiple people say it. Like, Trevor, I don't know Trevor like that well, but I don't think Trevor is gaining his moral compass from Urban Meyer.
People are eating this stuff up. It's just I remember we were talking about Tua, and Tua was like, hey, what's his name? The Flores is like like his dad was like, yeah, that's his second dad. No, I stopped that mess. Like, it was, even as a guy who didn't grow up with his pops like that. Like, I got one daddy. Mm-hmm. His name is James Anthony Coleman Sr. I don't need no new daddies. I don't need nothing. Now, there are men who I'm like, you know what? That man is really good in this area.
You consider him family.
Like to pattern my. I'll give a perfect example. Like when I was in business with a guy, local guy, former Jaguar, Lonnie March. I saw the way Lonnie March, how his family was. I saw the way Lonnie March. I was like, you know what? I like Lonnie. Lonnie March, like that's where I want to, like, okay, in this area of my life, I can try to. That's a compass. That's a guy who I can guide. But now he has his flaws. I don't know all of this stuff, but I know what I see, and that's cool. Blah blah blah. If something like that way, like if something did happen, it's not going to ruin or shake me to my core.
Well, think about being a dad for a second,
right?
Because this is the part that gets me a little bit fired up. We both have kids. We both have 2 boys.
Mm-hmm.
My goal as a dad is to help them learn from the mistakes that I've made so that they don't repeat those mistakes. That does not mean that I don't still make mistakes. That you know what I mean? Like that. None of us are walking around in any way, shape, or form perfect, not even for one day. So it's like when you say that that's a father figure, then as a father, I'm saying, okay, well, that is an imperfect human being. And all he should pass along is a little bit of wisdom here and there that you can draw on. But at some point, you got to be your own man. Mm-hmm. And being your own man does not come at 30.
Yeah. The other cool part is this. Having not really been around him like that, listening to these stories of what he was like when he was my age and growing up.
Who?
My dad.
Oh, yeah.
Are awesome. Probably terrifying and frightening for my mother during that time. Hindsight, there's some dope ass stories. Mm-hmm. But secondly, I don't go in and say, you know what? There's a guy in the pool that I don't like right now. And I don't want him around my family. So I'm going to go drag him out the pool and whip his ass because you can go to jail for those things. I don't judge him for that. I'm just like, okay, that's kind of funny, psycho. I know not to do that. Same thing with some of my coaches who were male role model. Let's just call it you can call him a role model.
You can.
To me that the whole fuck. It's just like I told you, one guy pissed me off really, really bad when he said I was disappointed. I said, I don't need to hear no grown ass man. I don't need nobody to tell me they're disappointed in me except for my mama. That's the only person that works on. Everybody else gets me mad. The only person that actually makes me feel like, oh man, is if my mom says that.
I'm a little disappointed in you.
Yeah, shut up. But my point is like, okay, he's a older gentleman. He's his boss. And I hate the reason why athletes, I say this consistently on the show, athletes think they're better than normal people is because you put us on this pedestal and you don't relate us to what you do on an everyday basis. Your boss, right, or your coworker yesterday or over the weekend might have got arrested for all kinds of stupid stuff. Does that shake you to your core? Mm-hmm. Did it shake you to your core when you first started off in your profession? 90% of the time, you really, really didn't care. All you wanted to know was if as long as their weekend doesn't mess up your Monday and your ability to do your job so that you can get your check. Now, if Herbs comes out here and has the best game of his life, coaches the best game against the Tennessee Titans, who everybody in Jacksonville hates, all is forgiven. Matter of fact, go back to Cincinnati on Tuesday on your off day. Find you a different girl. Do whatever you need to do to blow off steam, because I will tell you this. That league is so crazy. The stuff you see, the stuff you have access to, how much time you have to put in, invest in, whether you're a coach on the mental side or whether you're a player on the others on the mental and the physical side, that everybody got some kind of vice or something that they actually spill off.
No doubt. Like, I mean, here you go, Trevor. I'll be your dad on this. It's very simple. This is very simple. You are a big celebrity. All right. You're married. If an opportunity presents itself that you feel like is worth losing your marriage over, you will get caught. Period. The result will be that you will lose your marriage because you are not married as long as Urban has been married. Right? Like, that's simple. There's your father figure. That's all you need, Trevor. If you want to stay married, then don't do what Urban did. End of story.
Or learn from Russell Wilson. He did cheat. He did cheat. But I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna do it,
talk about friendly fire.
No, I'm saying no. This is what I mean. What Russell did. If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna get divorced, do it in the first contract. Don't like
that. That's not gonna play for Trev though.
But I'm just saying, like,
because Trevor ain't never gonna make as much money as what he's making in endorsements. Trev's probably already worth. You know what I mean?
1099. That's coming and going. Like in 6 years, I'm just saying, Russ.
She gonna get half.
Russ, that girl was super excited in that picture. That's not who he's married to right now. Sierra got that money. Like, he ain't leaving Sierra for a multitude of different reasons. But yeah, this is the whole thing is, again, I don't need my pro athletes perfect. I need my pro athletes to be good at their job. I just don't understand why Americans can't just say, I'm only mad at you for not being good at your job. Some of this other stuff is just like, it's not, nobody got shot. There was no racism in this video. There was really no sexism because she seemed like she enjoyed it. She wanted to be there. Like, none of the isms.
So there's no Me Too movement.
There's no, like, none of the isms account for this. I don't need Urban. Yes, he works on Sundays. He's not my minister. He's not my preacher. Like, all I need him to do is to understand that in goal line situations, you need a goddamn fullback. If he could do that, that's what I'm mad about. I'm mad that the defense gave up like 330
snap under center, obviously.
Right, well, you got that. The defense gave up like 330 freaking yards of total offense in the second half. They don't know how to line up in empty formations. Those are the things that I'm upset about. And he was just sitting there like, now, if you want to be mad, say instead of getting grinded on or letting somebody grind you down into submission in a vulnerable position on a dance floor, your ass should be figuring out how not to get grounded down in a vulnerable position on the football field.
You should have been watching film. Dadgummit, Herbs.
Now, if you
had your butt on the plane here in Jacksonville, watch him. You're supposed to be a grinder. He is a grinder.
He was a grinder. He was getting grounded.
But isn't he that guy that like he has to step away because he can't disassociate from football? Maybe this is better for his health.
Right.
Let me ask you this though: has people like? I don't know if this is the case, but I know a lot of people who have this going on where there's an arrangement,
bro.
And if it doesn't bother his wife, then why does it bother you? And before you say, "Oh, well, his wife's mad because he got caught." I don't know that for a fact, but I can imagine. I don't care if I had an arrangement. If my wife popped up on the internet and 100 million people saw it and everybody's looking at me, I'd be mad too.
It's the embarrassment that's typically comes down, and it's valid typically in all of this stuff, even if there wasn't an arrangement. Because what I've asked some friends when they were going through it, were you happy 30 minutes ago?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they typically, like, before they found 30 minutes before you found out, yeah, I was happy. Everything was cool. All right. So you're only mad because you know now. Now, what do you want to do with this? Because you can take this L in silence.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has to know that this happened. The only reason 90% of the people know that you guys had somebody cheat on you is because the first thing you do is you go and broadcast it on social media. You could have took that L in peace. Now, Herbs, the biggest thing is what I've heard from people who are in situations like this is don't embarrass me.
Right.
And that's embarrassing. Again,
and you got a daughter her age, right. Like that's the other thing.
And that's what my whole point with it all is. I'm not gonna, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I care about, because that's his relationship, unless he's done something really bad in his contract that gets him to, because they all have a morality, but I don't think it's anything bad. Like, that's between him and Shelly. Heck, we hired an offensive coordinator who, while he was doing the process of his divorce, was smoking weed with some hot chicks outside of Washington, D.C.
and banging a secretary.
I'm just saying.
And we hired him knowing that, with pictures, not of the secretary, but
with Shaq Khan as the owner, like the biggest.
Yes.
Listen, like, again,
Jay Gruden, not any of these guys.
Yeah, not any. Like, listen,
just look it up.
I don't try to understand things outside of my my jurisdiction and my tax bracket. From what I have understood is that people who are in super hot, not all of them, some are extremely faithful from what I understand, but some of them, both sides are away from each other for a lot, and they're in it for the brand and the building of the family, and they will not let anything get in the way of that. And all I'm saying is the attitude of which I have seen Mrs. Meyer throughout the course of their relationship leads me to believe that the only women who are mad in this situation are women who would never be able to give Urban Meyer a lap dance.
Let me ask you this. Urban Meyer lives in the same neighborhood as Tim Tebow. Who was he more afraid to see? His wife or Tim Tebow?
I think, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I think his wife, because Tebow has gone and lied for Urban Meyer. He's just as bad as she is.
Oh, I think Tebow looked at him and just went, look at you.
No, but just
Look
remember,
at you,
Tebow said
Urban.
Tebow's been like he's the greatest Christian coach I've ever had. He said all these things, and we knew about Chico.
Preclude him
we knew
from
about
being
Chico.
But that doesn't doesn't preclude him from being a Christian.
Like Tebow's probably like, all right, I'm gonna give you your Tebow's a legit friend. Like I got some.
I'm just kidding
friends.
about this.
No, I got you. I'm just saying I got legit friends. When I've made mistakes, I was like, man, shut up, dude. Like, yeah, you messed up.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna deal with it. I'm gonna be here to help you deal with it.
I'm gonna make fun of you.
I'm making fun of you, but I'm gonna be here to help you deal with it. And that's the best. If you don't have friends like that, man, I suggest you go find a couple because they're cool.
If there's not an adult chicken wing establishment taking advantage of this right now, like y'all should be having Urban Meyer Wednesday or something. I mean, something should be going on there. Giving away pullovers. I don't know. Something should happen. I gotta get to 8 o'clock if you're cool with that.
No, let's do it.
Green Acres brings us 8 o'clock because I have a 8 o'clock tonight. Green Acres Sporting, greenacresporting.com is where you need to go for all of your hunting and fishing needs. Huge location over off of Normandy. What is it, the 12th? October 12th?
October 12th, not tomorrow, but next Tuesday, we'll be having our concealed carry course, whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. Bottom line is we're going to learn how to shoot stuff.
$50.
$50. I'll make sure for this one.
I don't know if you're going to learn how to shoot stuff.
Well, legally, you'll be okay. Like you'll learn gun safety.
I don't want people thinking you're going to come in there like Yosemite Sam. Just
nah. That's another outing we may end up organizing.
We do need to.
But you'll come in there. They'll give you some gun safety class. It's basically a gun safety class, how to use it, how to point and shoot, learning the rules. And then it's an hour. Really good guys. Z and them will be there for anybody who wants to learn about the best gun for you. Mm-hmm. After the class, there's plenty of time that
you can buy there.
You can buy
the ammo there.
All of those things. Also, just letting you guys know, for all you our AR enthusiasts, the AR-15, they are still selling them for $699, but they're low in stock. Y'all been going out there and copping these bad boys.
That's awesome.
He's like, if you don't get them by this weekend, more than likely they're going to be sold out until probably the new year. So go ahead, $699. They do the background checks there for you. If you have your concealed the carry license, it's literally you can walk out the same day. If you don't, it's a 3-day waiting period for the background check. Get out to
Green Acres Sporting over off of Normandy Boulevard. Go see our boy Z. We would appreciate that. So my 8 o'clock is twofold. One, first and foremost, it is the Florida Gators performance on.
Well, everybody's been asking me, like, James, did you talk to Denny? Like, what does he think? I was like, man, I'm just letting him breathe.
Well, no, I honestly, 2 minutes after the game, I'm good. Like,
I believe
I don't care. My real 8 o'clock though is Gator fans. There's two things that just, I see it and I want to punch somebody.
Oh, wow.
The first is, well, our season's over now. Y'all, do you know how stupid that is? Your season's not over. Your season's not over for another how many ever games they have left. Mm-hmm. I don't care if they lose the next 5. The season is not over. All right. You literally have an entire schedule ahead of you with rivalry games. And here's the thing. The guys that said the season is over, you know what you're going to be doing when they play Georgia? You're going to be bitching about how they're playing. And I'm going to retweet you. I'm going to go, well, I thought your season was over. Why do you care? You know what they've been doing for the past 9 months is working out for this season. Right? If you thought that they were going to go undefeated, you're the dumb one. Nobody ever suggested that. All right. Did they play like crap? Yes. But the season is far, far, far from over. And that, let me tell you something. I'm going to get like deep on this. That's half the problem with our damn country right now. Is the minute something goes wrong, people throw their hands up and be like, well, it's over. It's done. There's nothing we can do about it now. Play it out, dog. Play it out. Like we were just talking about like infidelity. Play it out. Don't just run away. Play it out. Screw up at work. Don't quit. Don't fire somebody. Play it out. They've learned a lesson. Like, how do you know that the lesson that they learned this past Saturday night isn't going to be what propels them to beat Georgia. And if they beat Georgia and you're screaming and cheering and yelling and all that stuff, and you said the season's over, then what are you doing? It's not over. It's not over for Florida State. It's not over for Miami. You're talking about careers. You're talking about people who literally their way out of situations are what happens the next 8 games. Say it the way you want to say it. Our season is over to me because my expectations of people who know what they were doing was way too high. Say that. Their season's not over. They showed up for treatment the next day. They showed up for practice today. They're literally going to put their health and safety on the line next Saturday.
That's why I always joke when people say, y'all lost. I say, y'all? I ain't been hit since 2006. Somebody hit me right now. Either we scrapping or somebody going to jail.
Or I'm going to fold up.
Yeah. No, I'm saying no. Now, I always tell people, like, I was like, I don't know if I can take that hit on the football field. But, you know, it's the troll nature. And I talk about it a lot of times. And as I've gotten older and further removed from the game, I still love my university. I love my university because I played there, I bled, sweat. I will always love my university. I won't probably care or like another university until my son gets the opportunity if he chooses to play. That being said, the rivals, I love joking and I love cracking jokes on it. But I was with Leon Searcy this past Saturday. He played former University of Miami great, and we were talking our trash. But it's so civil.
Mm-hmm.
It's no well you're
There's
fat.
No hate
you're fat and bald. It's no, you got a big head. It's none of that. It's no real like.
Only either one of y'all can call the other one a big head.
Well, yeah, that's true. But what I'm saying is, the point is that like it's like no tension there. It's like really, really cool. Jacquez Green is one of my favorite follows on Twitter, and he's a Gator great. Big Shannon Snell is an amazing follow. The interactions that we all have is sometimes we're talking, like the grown-ups are talking. And then fans choose to interject and they're being rude. And we're like, yo, why are you even in the conversation as two people who have lived this or talking? I think sometimes we just, and then I've met a lot of people from the internet. I've seen them and this is something for them. Like they need that win. But I think that's also unhealthy.
I'm not hating on that part of the fandom. Though.
But what I'm saying is like, you shouldn't say, like, to me, these same people were also saying, and they'll say it once January really rolls around. Oh my God, I can't wait till football comes back. I can't wait till football comes back. I love football. I really legitimately like watching football. Outside of, I think, a year or two when I got done playing and it was over, I think it was more of me coming to grips with the finality that I'll never do this again. After that, I like being immersed in every aspect of the game. I love waking up on Saturday mornings coaching my son's I-9 team. I don't necessarily like the pay of high school football or the amount of time that you have to put into it for what you get out, but I do love impacting young men. I love watching I watch football all day. When it's over, I'm legitimately bored. So like so people are like, oh, what are y'all playing for? I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna go to homecoming. I'm gonna go to this. I'm gonna go because you don't only get to do this so many times a year. And if you look at it so many times in your lifetime,
it's called competition.
There it is.
Like that's what it is. It's and I was reading this on Saturday and Sunday, and I wanted to pull receipts. Like I wanted to go back to the people that said this, and I wanted to go back to their views on transfer portals and how many times they said, oh, a kid should stay and compete. I want to go back to how many times that I was DM'd that Carson Beck didn't go to Florida because he didn't want to compete with somebody. Like you can't say that if then you say, well, competition is not good. It's over now. No, you still have, 8 more competitions? 5 or 7, whatever it is. You still have 7, 8, 9, how many ever more competitions? Here's the other thing. This year's weird. This year's really weird. You went out and see what happens. Went out and see what happens. You don't know. If there was ever a year that a 2-loss third SEC team can get in, and I'm not even saying that I don't care like that, but I'm a competitive joker. And so if we have a guy that's on the field, I want him to win.
Right.
Period. I don't care who they play for. And I'm not getting onto your fandom. Like, I get that. I understand that. And I understand fandom is passion.
Mm-hmm.
And passion leads to dumb things. Passion leads to dumb statements. Passion leads to dumb decisions. Passion leads to writing checks you can't cash. Like, I get that, and I appreciate that. And 2 days later, some of that calms down and all that kind of stuff. But the second part of my 8 o'clock is then to even like let it come out of your mouth that Dan Mullen may not be the right fit for Florida, and that Florida may be better than Dan Mullen, and that Dan Mullen may not get them to where Florida needs to be. Like that, how does that even come out of somebody's mouth? And I don't even care about the last 5 or 6 games against FBS opponents, because what y'all are failing to mention are who those are. It's Alabama twice, it's Oklahoma, it's LSU, right? Like you can't tell half the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to get better than Dan Mullen. It's not gonna happen because you can't even identify who that is. Like, I've been waiting for all these people to say, well, Dan Mullen may not be what's best for us. Then who is? You ain't getting Saban. You ain't getting Dabo. You ain't getting Lincoln Riley. You're not getting Ryan Day. That's where the list ends.
Here's what I and this is what I love about the passion of football in the South. You know, Alabama has their real they have enough real championships that they don't need to celebrate the make-believe ones. That's why I always found it comical that they picked on UCF when they've got tons of claimed national championships that they actually pretend to be real ones. Florida's been in the SEC officially since 1933.
Mm-hmm.
They've played football since 1911.
Mm-hmm.
We're in 2021. So they played, was it 110
years?
110 years. Okay. They've got 3 national championships. Your first one came in, you only got 9 conference championships, if I'm reading this correctly. Was Spurrier the first real one?
Yeah, they did it legally.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, and that was 90, right? Mm-hmm. So let's just be real. Like Spurrier, like yes, you had Spurrier back in the 60s when he won the Heisman. Spurrier really brought your football program. That's the only one I know.
You're right.
But Spurrier, like from what I've heard before, like you weren't people. The joke was nobody really recognized you guys like that until Spurrier came, which is props to Spurrier. Great coach.
Right person, right time, right personality.
So if we're looking at that, then Spurrier leaves, so you have Zook. And Zook doesn't get you much of anything besides good recruiting. Mm-hmm. Then you came with Urban. And Urban gave you
2 natties.
2 natties. What was he? 5 years, right?
Something like that. I don't know.
Let's just say that. So let's just put this in perspective. For 15 years, that's it. Out of an 110-year program. And this is not me disrespecting. This is just me laying this out, the facts. You have been blessed to have Spurrier. You've been blessed to have Meyer. And I'll go on a limb and say you've been blessed to have Mullen, who's brought you back, because outside of those 15 years, and let's look to this past 15 years, you've had 8-5, 7-6, 4-8, 7-5, 4-7. Like you've had some real, so that's 5. So 1/3 of your past 15 years, you've been mediocre. You've only been elite for 15 years out of 110. And Dan Mullen has been a part of, even though last year was 8-4, it was still one of your better years because you played in an SEC championship.
And it was a reduced schedule. Yeah.
Right. But I'm just saying.
2 gimme games that would have took him to 10 were off the schedule.
Right. So like, I don't get it. Like you can clearly see like there's nobody, you're not in a position now. If
You're being logical about this.
If you want to talk about recruiting, and he's not like Dan's not that's never really been this thing. You knew that when you knew that coming in, and he wins enough to be able to keep you in the top 10. What you need and what you should do is hope. Like when I look at who's winning right now, truly winning are the coaches who have, outside of Cincinnati, which is an anomaly right now, but they will be consistent because he's a good coach, are people who are batting down the hatches and are being freaking consistent outside of Alabama. You want to be consistent for when the inevitable day comes that he's no longer. Truth be told, college football will have its reset when Saban's no longer there. Look at Clemson.
It's happening in the second tier now.
Who would have thought that Clemson would have fallen like this? Clemson has a Florida State type falling right now. Not saying it's going to be forever.
They lose Saturday?
They almost lost Saturday.
I didn't even pay attention.
But who would have thought Boston College would put them 3 weeks in a row? They're being put on the ropes
after losing their first game.
So it's just, the thing is but again, to fire Dabo would be idiotic.
The whole thing's just it's exhausting. It really is. That's the best way to put it. It's exhausting. Like,
because outside
what goes into these jobs and these hires, man, like you're playing the lottery if you think you're gonna get somebody. Dan Mullen is a top 10 coach in the country. There's no arguing that. And there's people, well, we didn't lose to Kentucky for all these years until Dan comes. Well, you also didn't have seasons like this for a long time. Like, why are you not bringing that up? James just spelled it out for you.
It's just like, I mean, again, you could probably do that for a lot of programs, because, and the only reason, and the bigger reason why I do this is outside of Alabama, who are the true guys who have, because Alabama has double-digit national championships. Who else?
No, that's what I was saying. Those three that you referred to with Florida puts them in like the top, 7 or 8,
especially in recent history.
Right.
I was joking with Big Searcy. I'm like, dog, you talking to me like, James, we got 5. I said, Leon, these kids running around right now weren't even swimming in their dad's sack when the last time you guys won one, let alone when you. I said, Leon, my people were cheering when I wiped my ass properly last time when you were in school. I said, you got to understand that nobody cares about this stuff anymore. No. You haven't won a bowl game in decades almost now. What decade? Not decades, but decade or close to it. And I'm not saying that to negate what they are, but I said, like, you know who has at this point, who has the same exact argument for you, and it sounds just as ridiculous. He's like, who? Harvard.
Like, well, not quite as ridiculous.
But what I'm saying is they have multiple national championships.
I know, but they haven't had one since like the 40s.
But my point is they have them. And
Georgia's closer to Harvard than Miami is.
But Georgia only has one. But I'm saying it's getting old. That argument, and I'm not even saying that to negate that. Here's what it is. And this is what I think when Alabama gets rid of, when Saban's gone, we'll honor him, we'll praise him. But I think the fan and college football has lost sight of what really made it awesome. And I wrote, when Gridiron Now was here, I actually wrote this article. I don't think fans understand how cool bowl games are for the player. Like, now granted, I didn't play in the Walk-On's Independence Bowl. I ain't going to Shreveport. My senior year, if we would have lost the Virginia Tech in the ACC championship, we were going to play in the Bluegrass Bowl, whatever, the Potato Bowl out in Boise. I wasn't going to that. I was going to sign with an agent. Right after I was going to do the little winter practice, and I was going to sign with an agent and be like, hey, man, I'm ineligible. I'm sorry. I gotta go take care of my family.
Somebody bought me a suit.
Yeah, somebody bought me a suit. I didn't know you couldn't do that. Like, I would lie. My point, but I had been to New Orleans once. I think I've told you New Orleans the times. But like, I got a chance to go see New Orleans. I still, like, I can't wait. I'm staying in the Marriott on Canal Street, just like I stayed at when I played there for the Sugar Bowl, because I still remember how much fun, too much fun. But now I can go have that fun and not be worried about anything. I got a chance to see New Orleans for that. I got a chance to come to Jacksonville, say I would never move to the city. But I came here and I did have a good time. But when I got back, I remember the places that I went to were the places they took me when I was here on this bowl game. Miami, seeing Miami in a different light. getting money. Like some of these guys going to New York City for the first time. They're going to San Antonio. It's not about you. You're talking about a bunch of guys who ain't never been nowhere. Couldn't afford to go any places. We didn't have grow up with.
Now that doesn't mean as a fan you have to light a bowl game.
But what I mean is this going to a bowl game? And there's too many that go now. But it used to be an honor. Winning your conference is a very difficult thing. Mm-hmm. Like only one team out of 120 can win a national championship every year. If that's your one goal,
you're gonna be miserable.
You're gonna be miserable all the time. But yes, okay, that's scratched off. That's unrealistic right now. But you still could be. It's outside chance. But if you win out, you could go to the playoff. Now you need to handle business against Georgia, because if you handle business against Georgia, there's still a possibility that you'll get a chance to play in the SEC championship.
Right.
Kentucky
would have to lose 3, but
But my point is that almost everything outside of one thing that it should be on every team's list of attainable objectives to compete with is still there for you. Because you lost 2 games, you can't play in the Natty. It's stupid.
You're talking about like a year ago it was fire Grantham. Well, now Grantham's balling, so now it's fire Mullen. It is what it is. I mean, I had a Georgia fan tell me, "Well, y'all have Mark Richt. He's gonna get y'all 10 wins a year." Cool. Pay him whatever he wants. If he's gonna get us $10 million a year, then you know what? He should be making about $8 million a year. Now, that's the going rate.
Who should be pissed? Texas A&M fan. But they shouldn't be pissed because they haven't ever won anything.
I have a question about that. Are there FSU fans that just troll Texas A&M message boards because they're still so hurt by Jimbo?
No. It's actually just what happens is there's a unity that comes into this. So it went from Texas A&M FSU fans being like, "Hey, good luck. You'll see what we were talking about in a few years." Mm-hmm. And then now it's like, damn, these FSU fans are right. There's one fan that is now a Texas A&M booster or whatever, or fan that was an FSU fan that actually picked up her whole life from Florida and moved to Texas. Very weird, but whatever. She's got a fondness for Jimbo or whatever and claims she knows him or whatever, and they hate her. But like, it's just, that's really the thing. And our media are jerks like that. Like, they're mad because they got very vocal about Jimbo when Jimbo left. And that's what I don't like. Because they wouldn't talk about Jimbo like that when Jimbo was here. Mm-hmm. But when Jimbo left, now we're going to buck up because you don't got to deal with it. But it wasn't a FSU fan that posted some of the things. It's the Texas A&M fans going back and saying,
I was going to say that's unhealthy.
Like, the 3 years Sumlin's first 3 years and Jimbo's first 3 years are identical, except for Sumlin actually beat ranked teams or teams with above 5. Like, I think he's got 1 win, and that was against the University of Florida over an above 500 opponent, which is very shocking because I think Jimbo's a good coach. I still think Jimbo's a good coach.
Well, I think it's also a good example, though, of just how hard it is to find the right guy in the right situation. I want to get real quick, and we'll speed through this. Bro, Georgia's the real deal. And I said here on our show Friday that I thought they would handle Arkansas. The Arkansas just don't have the cats. And they don't. You can't Sam Pittman is a great coach, but this is only his second year. It's amazing what he's doing. But as you got to have the cast to compete. You do. And that was obvious that they don't. Georgia's defense may be like,
they're saying this might be
historically good. Like, maybe one of the best defenses is some of those Miami defenses, like some of the Nebraska defenses. Mm-hmm. Because the thing about them is their rotation, you don't even know they're rotating. Like, their first and second and third dudes are all the same guys. It's insane watching this defense, and they're so fast, man.
Yeah, like, you know what took it to the next level? And, I think Schulman's over there. It was a good coach. Landing's over there. But damn, Muschamp's there. You got 3 guys who, like, Landing is the DC now, I believe. Champ will probably be the DC when Landing leaves to go somewhere else. And Schulman is a guy who people want to become a DC. Like, you got 3 real solid names on top of Kirby being a defensive-minded coach.
He's doing what Alabama did with the assistant coaches.
It's just like, man, like, you just got so much. You have so much coaching talent on top of playing talent that, again, it's tough to compete against. But people got. I think he's grown up a little bit more, Kendall, and I think that's why he's producing well. But one of the things that I told people, and I had to go back and I looked at it because Kendall did have the NCAA most explosive offense, all these awards. It's kind of like the Jimbo Fisher thing I just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
When you go back, Kendall wasn't
Kendall Briles, offensive coordinator for Arkansas.
He wasn't the offensive coordinator when Baylor was Baylor. Like he was the year after that. I think they won the Big 12. If I remember,
they were throwing us some crazy numbers.
No, they were. I'm not getting into that. But if you go back and you look at because I thought he was the offensive coordinator all throughout. But then I was like, oh, he was the offensive coordinator for these 2 years. The last 2 years at Baylor. His last 2 years at Baylor. So, oh, okay, let me go see how he did against. He did very well against Texas, who was ranked. But when you look at every other ranked team they played, 12 points, 13 points, 7. But then when they played the teams that were on their level, they were putting up numbers.
So what you're saying right now is also the reason why I said that I was going to take Alabama with the points against Ole Miss. Same tree. Mm-hmm. What happens with that offense is when you get against a team who's got the dudes to just go bump you, we're going to place a 6-man rush. We're going to drop everybody else, and we're still going to get pressure on your quarterback. You don't know what to do. There's nothing to do. And that's not just them. That's anybody. But I mean, it's just, listen, Georgia, Curbs, listen to me. You found what you're good at. I don't know if JT's hurt. I don't know. He seems to get hurt every week. But you don't want to throw the ball. And this may be the team that makes you better not throw. They threw 11 times.
And, man, what they...
11.
Bro, there's a play from... What's the tight end number 80?
Oh, yes. Where he blocks 3 people?
It's just... it was so sexy.
Yeah. On the goal line, too.
And you know what's crazy about it and why it's going to be... This is
was that Darnell Washington? It wasn't, was it? No, it wasn't. No.
This is why I don't understand. I get the NFL. NFL's entertainment. NFL is not... It's football, but it's not like how everybody else plays football. Good defense. Solid run game. Will win. I don't understand why people... That's my only frustration with my alma mater. Why you feel you have to do something when you don't feel you're equipped or have the talent to do it. Like it's insanity. Put the ball on the ground, get eight. You're getting 8 and 7 a pop from 2 of your top guys. Like just keep playing man ball. And when I saw Georgia line up and do that, it's a demoralizing way to lose. And then once you get up and the defense knows that there's nothing they can do, all it makes is your offense panic even more. The other team's offense panic more, and they put themselves in a bigger, deeper hole.
I really think Stetson Bennett gives Georgia their best chance to win because it keeps them from wanting to throw the ball. 1st and 10, run and get 6. 2nd and 6, run and get 4. 3rd and 2, we got Stetson in. We need to run. 1st down. And they just do this all the way down the field. And Kirby's in heaven with it. Like, Kirby, you just be you, man. Like, go old school Nick Saban. Go recruit your 3-star quarterbacks like he used to do. Develop them into game managers. Run the ball with your whole fleet of running backs and your 2 deep offensive line. Play your defense because 2 out of the last 3 years, your defenses have been out of this world good. And eventually you'll get a natty. Like, that'll happen. And then a couple years from now, bring in your Lane Kiffin that you're willing to trust and let him turn around the offense a little bit. But you're not there. You want to run the ball, and that is okay because you have a defense built for it right now. Like their defense is more of a threat to score right now than most people's offense.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. Florida State gets their first win. I mean, do we really want to dive into that?
No. I'm just happy we won. I talked about it on Inside Drills. A lot of good. And Mike did the right thing in the press conference is big enough, but again, you don't have Charlie Ward. You don't have Jameis Winston. You don't have Chris Winkie. You don't have Drew Weatherford. But what you do have is you know who your best quarterback is. And for you to consistently, like, in the Mackenzie Milton thing was a great story.
Mm-hmm.
If it would have worked, Hallmark would have been all over it. But unfortunately, you can't coach to be in a Hallmark movie. You have to coach to win games.
Yeah.
And all through spring, regardless of, forget what the media said. When I saw the spring practices, when I saw the practices at Jacksonville, when I saw the things that were told to me when I went to the scrimmage in Tallahassee, after I came back from COVID, there's not a person with any kind of competence that would have told you that Jordan Travis wasn't the best quarterback in that room.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to argue with me that their quarterback room is still weak, that's a completely different argument. In that room, Jordan Travis is the best quarterback.
Best chance to win.
Jordan Travis gives you your best chance to win.
He's the best quarterback with your roster that you
with your roster.
Yep.
Jordan Travis starts and play, and now it's funny that the media is doing all the stuff. Now they figured out that the only 4 games that Mike Norvell has won have been with Jordan Travis at quarterback. Now they're realizing that they're averaging 35.5 points a game when he's when he's the starting quarterback. You're averaging, like, dude, like, it's common sense. My high school coach used to say this: dance with the lady you bring, no matter how she looks.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ditch her for the prom queen because she wants you now. Roll with him. That might be the reason why he's not developed yet. He hasn't had a coaching staff that's literally believed in him enough to where he's the guy from beginning to end. Taggart didn't put him in. When Browse put him in, he was basically running the spread wing tee.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, it took you, again, almost losing to Jacksonville State, playing Tate Rodemaker, for you to put him in, and all he did was perform. Your North Carolina win, your signature win, came from his performance and him doing some things. Imagine if you'd have just stuck with him all last season and you would have stuck with him this year, even though he's had injuries, but let him battle through it, let him get it fixed. Because this year he ain't been that banged up because you've put him in spot duty. You just haven't started him the whole time. You might not beat Wake Forest because Wake Forest is that good, I believe. Well, in comparison to Florida State. And you don't beat North Carolina. I mean, you don't beat Notre Dame, but you obviously beat Jacksonville State. You beat you beat Syracuse with them. And I'm trying to remember, we're 5, and you beat Louisville. So you're 3-2. Recruiting is not as on the edge and rocky as what you think. And I think that's really in your locker room, because what players start to see is that they want to win.
How did I see Travis Hunter in an ambulance on Friday night at the Georgia game on Saturday?
Well, he didn't break his leg. It ended up just being
what in the world?
It ended up being a really bad high ankle sprain.
Okay.
And he had a boot.
Okay. We got to go. We got a lot in tonight. Good times. We'll be back on Wednesday, right?
That's the plan.
Yeah. Wednesday and Friday. If something comes up in between, maybe we'll do something then. I don't think there's any big news coming out of Jacksonville. Everybody calm down. Man's living life. Not very smartly, but he understands the consequences to his actions, and he's choosing to make them. That's on him, not us. So it's that simple, right? Make sure you get to thehumidor.com. Smoke you a good cigar. Like, just calm down. Light it up. Just relax. Go to thehumidor.com. Order a ton of them. Type in sportsden, all lowercase, all one word, and you'll get 20% off of that order as well. We appreciate you. Tell your friends. Share the SoundCloud. And we will be back on Wednesday. Have a good night.